Welcome to this episode of Coffee Time Doodles. Today we are painting an artwork of Attack on Titans featuring Eren and Mikasa, and we're going to give our impressions on the anime overall. So pick up a hot drink, relax, and enjoy. Yes, I've been wanting to make this episode for over a year now. I made a few sketches that I didn't like and the timing was not right. But the season airing at the time of this video, Season 4, is supposed to be the final season. There's like 3 episodes left to be released this month and I'm a little sad about it, but I'm typically the type of person who likes when good things end before they go bad. Too many animes or manga fall into the trap of expanding on their initial ideas when they are very successful, but it often ends up drying the initial concept very quickly. And once the passion and depth of the story have dried up, all that we're left with is an endless washed-up battle fest shonen that ends up getting cancelled. It sucks to see perfectly good anime fall into this pattern. Bleach is a great example of that. There was so much to love about Bleach, but it was stretched out so much that the initial ideas of romance became too awkward to revisit, and they dropped the whole thing. With the hundreds of animes that I watched in my life, I've seen this pattern so many times. When a shonen anime starts very strong, with interesting characters, a solid concept, they catch our interest, and after season 2, whoops! The main character gets beaten, goes through hard training, acquires new powers, beats the enemy, rinse and repeat until the show is cancelled. I even fear that this shonen curse attacks animes that we currently enjoy, like the 7 Deadly Sins and Tokyo Ghoul. Actually, I just looked it up and Tokyo Ghoul appears to be over after only 2 seasons. You could already see that season 2 had lost all of the interesting intricacies of the prologue. In season 1, the character is discovering his new identity. He learns that the only thing that he can taste like it was before is coffee, so he learns to make really good coffee. I love this kind of little detail. In season 2, gets beaten, becomes stronger, wins, gets beaten again, becomes stronger, I'm out. So anime stories that have a clear beginning and end are generally the ones that give us the best lasting impression. They are the ones that we can call a masterpiece. You have to end it while it's strong. And if you decide to keep going, make sure that you're still following the path that you intended originally with the story. Attack on Titans is a short and sweet perfect production. Just like many of you, it's one of my favorite animes of all time. There's a couple of reasons behind that, but the first thing that we can notice is the insane production behind the series. When you can combine top-level art with top-level music and top-level writing, you got yourself a masterpiece of an anime. Hitting these 3 marks is generally the goal. So speaking of Sasageyo, let's talk about the music scores. The opening and ending songs of Attack on Titans quickly rose to my top 20 songs of all time. I'm actually a musician myself. I used to try to become a composer before switching to art as my main thing. And I always had a list of my favorite anime songs that I would rate. I rate basically everything that I consume. Movies, TV series, anime, and anime songs. It's just a weird thing that I do. So I think that one of the key elements that struck people with Cupid's love arrow was the iconic opening song of season 1. It was very energetic, epic, and catchy. I mean, it was perfect. The kind of opening song that you never skip because it really gives you the chills and sets the tone for the episode that you're about to watch. I was always saying that you don't want to be the guy going after this composer. You don't want to be the composer of season 2 because you can't beat this opening. And then, oh my lord, the season 2 opening song happened. I mean, how is it even possible? It had an opening song by Linked Horizon that gave me even bigger chills than the season 1 opening song. How did they manage to top the first opening? Let me rate the 4 openings in order of my favorite ones. I told you I rate everything. So it goes like this. The best Attack on Titans openings are season 2, and then season 1, season 4, and lastly, season 3. I won't do the ending song, but some of them are a lot stronger than the season 3's opening. Here's an interesting thought about Attack on Titans. The characters felt a bit secondary in importance of what was interesting about the whole thing. They kept dying, and as shocking as it was, I didn't care for many of them for at least the first 2 seasons. I was just in love with the ensemble of elements surrounding the anime, and the characters were just a part of that ensemble, and not necessarily the prime interest. But I will say that a lot of them grew on me naturally over 4 seasons. My favorite characters are like Levi, Mikasa, I don't know. You see, that's what I'm saying. It's even hard to pick your favorite characters because they're kind of equally charming and important. They're just part of this ensemble that I'm talking about. Now let's dig into the story a little bit. Some of you know that about me already, but I'm a huge fan of horror and dark fantasy. This phrase should go on my tombstone. So Attack on Titans was basically tailored for me. Right off the bat, I love the mystery of the setting. The kids are picked very early to be trained to be warriors to defend their city against attacks from mysterious and extremely creepy giant naked humans. You already got me there. The simple fact that the characters don't know what's going on, what the meaning of these attacks are, and having been raised not to even know what lies beyond the walls of their own city is highly intriguing. We've seen a similar concept in the movies The Village and Dogtooth, where the protagonists are being fed a lie about what's beyond the limit of where they're allowed to go. It's a really interesting setting, when you as a viewer you have no idea either, so you're kind of in the same situation. This level of mystery appeals to me a lot. It reminds me of a sci-fi horror manga called Gantz, Gantz. I love Gantz. The anime is very cheap and derails quickly from the manga, but the manga is amazing. I love a good mystery. In fact, I immediately knew that as soon as we would know where the Titans come from and why they're attacking, as soon as we know what's beyond the walls and the sea, I would quickly start losing interest. The mystery, the fantasy, the horror of their situation is what I find intriguing. There was so much shock value in the first 2 seasons. People getting taken from their homes and eaten by giants, and nobody knows why this is happening, but we're preparing for defense, for pure survival. There's an intensity to this setting, a chaotic and shocking situation mixed with the mystery of the unknown. Take notes, writers. But again, I expected to lose a little bit of interest once it was time for the big plot reveal. Thankfully, the story post-mystery, post-unknown was still very much well prepared, well lined up. It made sense and you can tell that it was planned, and that's very important. Any of you remember the TV series Lost? That's a prime example of how you can attract the interest of a huge audience with the power of mystery of the unknown. And it's also a prime example of how you can lose every single fan once the writer reveals that they have no freaking idea where they're going with the plot and they were going in blind from the start. You can't do that. If you give a mystery to your audience, you can't be clueless about your own story's plot. That's a huge mistake. The writer of Attack on Titans had the whole thing figured out in advance, and you can tell. I'm so glad that he decided to end it before it went too far. Because similar to what I was talking about earlier with the shonen fighting fest curse, there's another curse that can afflict any writer of any fiction. It's the curse of starting from a great concept and continuing the story once the initial concept is over. For example, the trilogy of The Maze, the book series that have had movie adaptations. The thing is called The Maze, and there's nothing more interesting than that. A group of young people stuck in a life or death situation where they have a deadly giant maze before them. Again, mystery of the unknown, shocking and traumatizing survival situation. You catch our interest the same way as Attack on Titan does. So The Maze, spoiler alert, at the end of the Maze movie, they may or may not get out. Well, the problem here is that there are more books after the maze is completed, more movies, and who cares about those chapters? What's the interest anymore? The whole interesting element here is how the hell do we survive the deadly maze and why are we here? Once you respond to these questions, the story is over. The writer curse makes writers continue beyond the original concept. Remember the Hunger Games? Same thing. Remember the Matrix? Sword Art Online? Yeah, you know what I mean. Attack on Titans could easily have fallen in that trap if they had more seasons planned after the mystery was solved. So trust me when I say that it's a blessing that Isayama-san decided to end the story shortly after the big plot reveal. I will be able to add this anime to my 5 out of 5 rated series. Overall, this story, this production, this music have all greatly inspired me. My 3 biggest passions are art, music, and writing. This is why anime has such a special place in my heart. It's so many multiple talents coming together to shape up this beautiful thing that we should remember. Attack on Titans was mysterious, shocking, sad, and beautiful. Much like life itself. I'm so glad I finally made my Attack on Titans episode, and that I finally made this artwork. It gave me a lot of trouble though. I've been digging into a gritty, rough brush stroke style lately, and I'm struggling with figuring out how to apply it in an anime setting. I'm just exploring. I haven't necessarily found my ultimate style or anything. I've been enjoying working on this piece, but it took me a little too many afternoons last weekend. I'm hoping to become a little faster so that I can produce more videos per month. You know, one of my biggest end goal is to combine my love for writing and my love for art. You'll hear me talk about this a lot, but I eventually want to start writing my own series. I'm thinking of a sort of manga-ish format of storytelling on webtoons. I also have an idea of storytelling series for YouTube, where I would make my own writing and art and probably my own music in the background too. These are my passion projects that I'm really eager to share with you. But for now, I'm exploring a lot, I'm studying, I'm evolving as an artist while growing my YouTube channel. I'm throwing some emo tutorials here and there because that's what I'm known for. It's going to be an exciting journey. Alright, this was fun, and oh my! We just hit a new milestone on YouTube with 1,000 subscribers today. Hey, that's something to celebrate. I really want to thank all of you that are here from the start and that listened to me ramble about TV, anime, and games. I appreciate you so much. And I hope that we can build a community here of just nerds that like all of these things. So that's it for today. I will be back with more Coffee Time Doodles very soon. And to follow my content, you can follow me on Twitter or join my live stream on Twitch. Thanks for watching.